Hey, coaches. Coach E here. In today's show, I'll be continuing my series of 3 questions with Coach E, episode number 4. Reminder, in this series, I select 3 questions that were sent in to me and answer them as best as I can. Let's get into the questions here. So the first question that comes in today is, how do you decide what you want to study in the off season? Do you study teams similar to you? Okay. So I chose a random picture of books, coaching books as the background here on this question for a reason, because I do a lot of reading, and that's kind of the majority of studying that I do in the off season. So that's how this picture relates to what I'm trying to say here. So, but overall, I usually just study a variety of things each off season. So for the most part, it's something that's interesting to me, as in like offensive schemes. I usually focus there first. Specifically, if I'm going to watch video or film, I'm going to watch college football teams that use the same primary schemes that I do. So how do I decide what I want to study? I mean, it goes by personal preference first, and then next, I would say if there's something that I felt my team needed to really improve upon, before heading into the next season, that would be my next thing. It would first be personal preference. Then it would be, okay, if my team really needs to work on this, I'm going to focus on becoming a better coach at teaching that. All right. And do I study teams similar to you? Absolutely. Yes, I do. And so, yes, if I felt, like I said, if I felt that I didn't do a good enough job offensively, for example, then I'd look into ways that I could simplify my offense or focus on maximizing our strengths, using the 80-20 principle. Just finding ways to really help our offense. That's just for an example. I mean, obviously, if I wanted to focus more on defense, I'd look up some of the best defensive coaches, 8-man wise, in the U.S. and see what they're doing, and just try to come up with ways, find different ways to do the same thing for my team. So overall, it comes back to I really think coaches should do whatever they can to grow and always be open to learning each offseason. And which is why I put the books in here, because I do a lot of reading usually, and I stole this from another coach a long time ago, I know, but I would always try to read 10 pages a day, because if I read 10 pages a day for the whole week, and let's say we're not including the weekend, then that's 50 pages. That's usually about a chapter per week, and then if it's a 10 chapter book, maximum it takes me 10 weeks. So a little over 2 months to read the whole book. So, which is nice because I have a big stack of books, so I can finish them within a month or two, depending on if I read on the weekends or not, and then keep going. So, but anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic again. But overall, it comes back to, like I said, I think coaches need to be open to learning all the time, continuing to grow learning, because I really think it pays off in the long run. If you're going to continue to grow and gain knowledge rather than staying the same, I think it will really truly pay off. But anyways, hopefully that answers the question. Let's move on to question number 2. The next question is, what would you say is your best motivational strategy? Okay. So motivational strategies are always going to be different for everyone. And just because I say something works best for me, obviously that does not mean it's going to be the same way for everyone. But with that being said, for me, it comes back to my teaching and coaching philosophy first. And that is that I have to start by building a connection with each of my players. And when I know each of my players and my team as a whole, then I'm going to use that knowledge to set 1 or 2 small goals every day of practice. Oh, actually, I mean, not just practice. I'm talking PE class, 1 or 2 small goals, because you always have something you got to get done. And so I'm going to set 1 or 2 small goals in every day of practice, PE class, and even each half or quarter of the game. All right. And I think at the beginning of each season, it's good to focus on those smaller goals anyway and work your way up, because that's going to help your team understand it's a long season, especially new kids to your program, or even if you're a first year coach. And that's going to help them realize that they have to take it one step at a time. Now, while the season's going, I always make it a point to celebrate all the smaller achievements, even if it's just a small goal, like I said, like 1 daily goal of practice or in PE class. I'm still going to celebrate and tell them, hey, great job. Way to get that done. I'm glad you got through that, or whatever the case is. But I'm always reiterating that it's just one step towards our ultimate team goal. All right. So even if we do, accomplish both goals in practice that day, whether it's whether it's one goal of a quarterback to, have 90% of make the correct read 90% of the time, have 90% accuracy in his reads in practice that day, or all the quarterbacks do that. Whatever it is, I'm going to still celebrate that success, but always reiterate, like I said, that it's one step towards our ultimate goal. We got to do that every day. And then when you stack up a bunch of successes, that's when you're going to start to win games. But like I said before, that's just what works for me and how I do it. You guys can obviously do whatever you want. And I would say if you've already got some specific strategies in place that, work for your kids and your kids are, you're consistent with it and your kids seem to like it and it works for them too, I mean, then I'd say stick with it. But that's just, like I said, once again, that's how I do it and it works for me. You can do whatever you want. So hopefully that answered that question. Let's move on to question number 3. The final question: how did you get into coaching? What connected you to football? All right. So honestly, I've just been around the game my entire life. So I played it at a young age with my brother. I have an identical twin brother, and me and him were inseparable, like most twins are from an early age. We didn't have anything else to do. We didn't have video games or even phones like everybody does today. We actually both got a iPhone. We bought our first iPhone our senior year. That's when they first came out. And so before that, we had track phones my junior year. So anyways, getting off topic. But I've been around the game and was always outside playing sports with my brother. And then my dad worked at the high school for over 15 years as a custodian and janitor. And so we always got to set up the yard markers, help him paint the field, staying way late after games, helping him clean up the locker rooms and pick up trash at basically all home events. And so just being around the game and watching it all the time, and then being a part of a great community that actually did have a lot of success and kids wanted to grow up and, continue that helped obviously as well. But it wasn't until probably in college, when I played in junior college, where I started to really fall in love with the strategy and impact of the game. And that helped me because after I was done playing in junior college and I went on to a 4-year school, that's when I really started to reach out to coaches, specifically even former coaches that I had, assistants and head coach. And that really helped me because I first reached out just wanting to get some professional growth hours towards my degree, which was an education degree. And I just wanted to help them out with some summer workouts. And when I did that, I first got there and immediately I got offered a position as a varsity assistant football coach, and I still had 2 years left of college. And so how did I get into coaching first? Completely by accident. So, I mean, I would say my advice to any young high school kids or even junior college kids or even early college kids, period. If you guys think you might want to get into coaching at all, don't be afraid to reach out to other high school coaches, especially if you already have any sort of relationship with them or if they might know who you are, like if they coached against you or coached you in a postseason game of any kind, or even they were your head coach. Because chances are coaches are willing to help former players, especially if they knew them at all, or if they definitely did coach them. They're going to be really very willing to help you. And who knows, they might even be looking for an assistant, like in my case. So connections go a long way and everything. So reaching out and connecting with people is almost always a good thing. So I would definitely say that'd be my advice to young high school kids who might want to get into coaching. Don't be afraid to reach out, even if it's right after graduation. Keep in touch with your coaches because they might want you to come back, So, so how did I get into coaching? Sorry, I went off topic there. How did I get into it? Completely by accident. Like I said, I reached out to my former coaches and got a job immediately almost when I went and helped them. And then what connected me to it? Just being around it all my life. It's from a young age, being all around it and having so much fun playing it with my little brother, or excuse me, my twin brother. He's actually my bigger brother. He's older than me by 10 minutes. But anyways, so hopefully that answered your question. That's how I got into it and how I got connected. So, all right. And that is going to wrap up today's episode of 3 Questions with Coach E. Real quick, my current plan and schedule is to continue releasing one video every Tuesday night at 7:30. So if you're interested in seeing videos as soon as they premiere on my channel, be sure to tune in on Tuesday nights at 7:30. All right. Remember, if you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and comment your question on any of my videos and I'll get back with you as quick as I can. And I might even use them in a future video of a 3 Questions with Coach E video if you're interested in letting me use your question. So please comment any questions that you have on my videos, any of them, and I'll go back and check on them, get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe and check out my previous videos here. Remember, guys, it's all free. And like always, thanks for watching.